Welcome back to another video from the Shed End. I hope you're all doing well on this Tuesday afternoon. Before we get into the content, please go and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that Linktree link in the description as well. That will take you to all our podcast episodes, all our social accounts as well. We've just recorded episode 90 yesterday, so make sure you go and listen to that as well. There's a lot about tonight's game as well in that episode, but I wanted to do a match preview as always. Try and get as many previews out as possible. Make sure you leave your comments as well in the comment section below. I want to hear from all you Chelsea fans about tonight's game against Real Madrid. The impossible is what they're drumming it up to be. Can we go and score 4 goals against Real Madrid? 3 goals. Let's just say 3. Let's say 3. We don't even need the 4th goal. Let's say 3 goals against Real Madrid without Real Madrid scoring against us. Can we do the impossible? Now, we've had some really brilliant nights, Chelsea fans, at Stamford Bridge, away grounds. Champions League nights is where we tend to thrive. We tend to show what we're about. Organised chaos is like what I like to call Chelsea in the Champions League. We are organised chaos. But I feel like this one is too much. Too much. We've bitten off too much. There's too much to do. It's too little too late. As I said yesterday, we've got too much to do. And if we're going on current form, off the back of the poor performance, Wolves, Brighton, Real Madrid last week, we are nowhere near capable, home or away, Stamford Bridge or not, we are nowhere near good enough to be going against Real Madrid tonight. Not at all. Not at all. Now, I want to take it back to last week's game, Bernabeu. We were arguably in spells the better team. Should we have walked away 2-0 down? Not at all. Did we play some really good football? Yes, we did. Now, the mistakes that we made, the goals, Wesley Fofana being a massive one for the first goal especially. Kepa could have got a stronger hand onto it. Benzema leading up to that goal, running, continuing his run. The easiest goal he's going to score. Second goal, Asensio, another one, slow out of our box, slow to get out, try and close down that space for Asensio for the shot. 2 avoidable goals. I mean, if we were talking about a 0-0 situation now, I would give us a bit more confidence. It would give me something to think, right, we can go into this game tonight. We can actually perform. Yes, we haven't had a good season, but Champions League nights, you're meant to leave everything out there. Everything out there. Do I think it's possible tonight? I'd love to say yes. I did say yesterday, I think we're going to win. And I still stand by that. I think we will win. But it's not going to be enough to see us through. I think if we start the game how we did against Real Madrid, but continue with that, 100% we can win. We can win because Real Madrid are beatable. We know that. We've done it before last season. Away as well last season. They are beatable. But my only problem is the form that we're playing in. The lack of creativity going forward. The fact we don't have a goal scorer. The fact that we have Ben Chilwell suspended. Koulibaly is injured. Massive losses to the team. No David Datro Fofana, no Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. We do not have the tools to do this job tonight. So if we do it, it is by a miracle. It is going to be by a miracle. Now, there was some team news early this weekend that actually got me excited because I thought we might have a chance. Karim Benzema, Vinicius Jr. did not play over the weekend. I thought they might be injured for this game, but they were back in training on Monday and Sunday. They're fit. They're in the team. They're ready to go. They're fresh. They're fresh. They're going to be the freshest they've probably been in a very long time. We have to keep them quiet tonight. We have to give them 0 opportunity to score against us. Now, that is one thing saying it. But if you remember last week with Reece James, with Wesley Fofana beside him, he did not go down well at all. Reece James, I think everyone's seen the picture of Vinicius Jr. tagging Reece James. He had him running rings on Wednesday last week. Reece James could not cope with Vinicius Jr. Ben Chilwell could not cope with Rodrigo. Wesley Fofana could not cope with Benzema. Our midfield could not cope with Modric, with Toni Kroos, with Valverde. And our attackers were non-existent. It was almost lob the ball to João Felix, lob the ball to Sterling. Let's see what happens. We can't do that tonight. We can't do that tonight. We will do that tonight because it's Frank Lampard He clearly hasn't learned anything from his first 3 games, but I'm pretty sure he rested some of the players at the weekend against Brighton. You'd expect him to come back in. But if we want to win this game, there's one thing we have to do. We have to close down the space. We have to not leave any space for Valverde, for Modric, for Toni Kroos to pass that ball into, for Vinicius Jr., for Rodrigo, for Karim Benzema. We have to make sure we limit all the space behind us. Another thing we can't do is play a back 4. We can't play a back 4 against Real Madrid. Because if we do that, they're going to tear us a new one again. So we have to go with a back 5. Now in the midfield, I think last week, I'm sure we played 3 in midfield, I think. Didn't work. I said we needed to match Real Madrid in midfield. I think this time we need to leave it to Enzo. We need to leave it to Kante. We need someone up top. Now we're limited already. We don't have Aubameyang, as I said. There's no David Datro Fofana. There's no one else up front apart from the usual miss hitters in Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, João Felix. Maybe Mudryk might start, but I can't see it coming. I can't see us getting a win tonight and progressing us. I can see us winning, but not in terms of 3 goals and not conceding. Not the way that we are. The fact that we're going to have to play Cucurella. This is a game where I do worry about some of the Chelsea fans, because I think if we lose tonight, you got to see some of the Chelsea fans, or so-called Chelsea fans, against Brighton at the weekend, arguing with Todd Boehly. Todd Boehly going into the dressing room, which we're going to touch on afterwards as well. But Todd Boehly going into the dressing room after the game, spending an hour or so in the dressing room, addressing the players, telling the players you're not good enough. Even though I've just signed you 6 or 7 months ago, you're not good enough. Even though you're getting 300 grand a week, you're still not good enough. We're going to get onto that in a minute. But in terms of tonight's lineup for me, and I think me and Theo, we've agreed on this one for once. This is one that we've both gone for. We've gone for the lineup being Kepa in goal. Mendy, I think, is potentially going to be on the bench, but we've gone with Kepa in goal. Now, one thing I've just mentioned last week, Wednesday, Vinicius Jr. was running rings around Reece James and Wesley Fofana to an extent. So what we've done, we've gone with Ruben Loftus-Cheek as right wing back, who I think will play better than maybe Reece James. That allows Reece James to come into as a right centre back. That also means that Thiago Silva and Fofana will be his centre back partnership. Obviously, Koulibaly's out the game with an injury, a hamstring injury, and we have lost Ben Chilwell to a silly and stupid red card due to Cucurella, but we don't have any option but to play Cucurella as a left wing back. So we've gone for the back 5 in terms of Cucurella, Fofana, Silva, Reece James, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. The 2 in midfield, as I said, N'Golo Kante, Enzo Fernandez, both of them have to have the perfect game tonight. They have to have the game of their life and get out of it without any injuries as well. Mason Mount, Money Mace, as they used to dub him, playing just behind those 2 that have gone for we've gone for in forward roles, João Felix, Kai Havertz. They have to do something tonight. João Felix, Kai Havertz have to do something tonight. We need an early goal, and we need to continue with that. If we don't get the early goal and Real Madrid get the early goal, it's going to be a long night. It could be a 6 or 7-0 thrashing. That is not me being exaggerating the situation. That is the reality of where we are this season. The season that I've already said I've written off, and still have and still will. But that has to be the lineup for me and for Theo as well. But this is the lineup that we've gone for. We can't play a back 4. Raheem Sterling cannot be in this lineup. He can't be anywhere near the team. For this reason, Raheem Sterling apparently was the player. I don't know if you've seen the tweet. I'm going to pop the tweet up now so you'll be able to see it. But Raheem Sterling apparently, according to the Chelsea Dodgers, there's one player particularly on high wages that is not pulling his weight at the moment. Now, by elimination process, someone who's recently signed to the club on a very high wage. There's only two really that I can think of. That would be Koulibaly, who didn't play against Brighton, or Raheem Sterling, who did play against Brighton. So I think we can easily say it's Raheem Sterling that Todd Boehly is talking about in terms of not pulling their weight. Someone who looked dejected in training the day after. If you looked at the training pictures or you got to see the training session earlier on yesterday, you'll see that Raheem Sterling looked dejected. So I think it's Raheem Sterling we're talking about. Now, my problem with Raheem Sterling is he's gone from Pep Guardiola, one of the best, not just in England, Europe, one of the best coaching him. Pep Guardiola, who will shout at you for 90 minutes on the pitch. He'll tell you if you're doing something wrong during the game. He won't wait till 90 minutes or half time. He'll tell you on the pitch. He'll call you over to talk to you about what you're doing wrong. He'll sub you off if you're not doing what you're asked to do. He's gone from that level of quality in terms of a manager or a coach to Chelsea, where things are just disjointed, erratic. There's no plan. There's no system. Of course you're going to be dejected. Of course you're going to be a bit pissed off. Of course you're not going to want to play for a team where you're being played in this position and that position. And yes, Raheem Sterling can play across the whole front line. He can play as false nine. He can play left. He can play right. But when you're not really getting the best out of a player, you can't just blame the player for that. You have to blame the coach. You have to blame the manager. You have to blame the owner. You have to blame it. Everyone's at fault, not just Raheem Sterling. And one of the comments that came out from Frank Lampard was that the players are fatigued. They're fatigued. We run the least in the Premier League. We can't be tired because we haven't done anything all season. So I don't understand that as a comment. There was also a comment yesterday that was asked at the press conference, both to Kepa, who was doing press conference duties alongside Frank Lampard. Both were asked the question, are you happy with the owners coming into the changing room after a game, after a defeat? Kepa said yes, no problem. He does it all the time. Frank Lampard said pretty much the same. I don't really mind. They're the owners. We've not been used to that with Roman. It's nice to have. Now, my issue with that is, why have you got a manager managing a team? If you're going to be the owner and go in and talk to the players after the game, that's the manager's job. That's the coach's job to do that. I'm not keen on the manager, on the owner, overstepping the manager's boundaries and talking to the players as if he's the manager. And that's where we're going to go wrong going forward. Now, tonight, if we lose, I'm pretty sure if it's true what Kepa's saying and what Frank Lampard's saying, Todd Boehly will potentially go into the dressing room or address some of the players. That can't be good for morale. That can't be good for morale. You've got players like Raheem Sterling not doing well. Now, Frank Lampard tonight, he made a mistake on the weekend. He played Hakim Ziyech, for me, a player that's leaving the club. I don't want to see him tonight. Let's not play the players that we know aren't going to be here next season. Maybe Mateo Kovacic has to sit this one out. Maybe. But let's give some of the credit to some of the players that are trying. João Felix, who's trying to do something. The system isn't fit for him at the moment, in my opinion. We're not playing to his strengths. We're not playing to Raheem Sterling's strengths. Mudryk, we've seen flashes in the moments with him. He's not been given a run of games. Again, because of the level of this game, I wouldn't play him. I'd love to put Mudryk in this team because I think he'd do a job for us. But I don't think we can play him based on the confidence is being below zero at the moment. And this is the problem we've got. We've got too many players on high wages, high contracts, zero confidence. Goes back to what I've said before. We have to bring in this new manager very soon. We can't wait till June, July to announce a new man. The new manager has to be announced before the end of next week, start of May. We need the manager in to get the job done, get them involved, understand what's needed at the club, who's staying, who's going. Get the best out of some of these players. Get the best out of them. Because if this was a different situation and we were having a half-decent season, we're just maybe scraping top four, we're pushing for top four, we're pushing for the league, and we had this crop of players, you'd probably say even 2-0 down, we should be beating Real Madrid or giving them a game. But there's zero confidence with the fan base because we've not seen anything on the pitch. We've not seen anything from some of these players. But Todd Boehly going into the dressing room, for me, it's a slippery slope. And whoever comes in to manage, they have to be comfortable with the ownership walking into that dressing room, win, lose or draw, and addressing that team. Because to me, that undermines the manager, it undermines his coaching staff. If the owner's coming in, week out, talking to the team. Personally, I don't get that. Tonight is not a must-win, really. I know I said it was yesterday. It's not a must-win. It's one of those ones where if we don't win, we have to put in a performance and go out with a fight. Theo mentioned it on the podcast yesterday. This could be our last time in however many months, maybe 2 seasons, where we don't have Champions League football. We don't have European football. So I think if we're going to go out tonight, we need to go out with a fight. We need to make it difficult for Real Madrid. As I said, compact at the back is key. We can't have those silly mistakes like we did last week with Fofana and Reece James, Cucurella, stepping out of position every now and again. We can't afford to do that. We need someone like Mason Mount, who came on. I mentioned it last week, who came on. He tried to change the game. He had a really good shot deflected away from Rudiger, if you remember. But he came on. He left one on Calvert-Lewin. He was running around. He wants something. Conor Gallagher, you're going to have to sit this game out. Mason Mount should start. Conor Gallagher on the bench. We've got to go out with a bang. And I don't care if we lose, but lose gracefully. Lose with a bit of pride and a bit of passion and a bit of fight tonight. Because if we don't know next time we're going to hear that Champions League music. We don't know next time we're going to be playing against some of the elite players in Europe. And we could be talking about maybe 2, maybe even 3 seasons without this. So let's go out with a fight. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who would you start? Would you go with our lineup that me and Theo selected last night? Let me know everything in the comments as well. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit that Linktree link in the description. I'll be back with a match review, hopefully progressing through. And if we do progress through, Man City should be next on our list in the semi-finals. But if we do or don't, I'll be here either way. Make sure you tune in for the review tomorrow. Thanks for watching.